We benefited from a strong legislative regulatory environment during the recession. We saw that our financial services sector actually managed that period incredibly well in comparison to their counterparts overseas. We also know that top talent is always going to be in demand, but that increase in change that we see coming through at the moment, which relates to the Companies Act. There is a new Companies Act that's going to be brought in. We're not sure when. Media has been reporting that we can expect it to come in the recent course of this year, but it's going to increase the demand that is being placed on senior executives within the South African marketplace. In the same way that regulatory and legislative environment reduced the impact of the recession, specifically in our financial services environment, I'm confident that the same thing is going to happen in terms of the new Companies Act. It's going to bring good governance, it's going to bring good practice to many more companies and organizations. What we're going to talk about today are perhaps some of the trends that we're going to see as a result of this. The trends that we expect to see as a result of the new Companies Act, and in fact, some of them are already quite prevalent, relate to due diligence, a swing from independence to competence, governance and salaries. Due diligence, candidates are going to be a lot more careful about the organizations that they work with. They're going to want to see strong evidence of careful governance, of considered action, and of risk management and mitigation. In terms of the swing from independence to competence, I think non-executive directors are highly competent people, but what is going to be a requirement going forward, not only for the non-execs, but certainly always the execs, is an absolute depth of knowledge in the area or the functionality, the key functionality of the industry and the company with which they are now working. Governance frameworks continue to be a strong focus within companies. In terms of the new Companies Act, personal liability for directors is going to dramatically increase, and not just for the directors, but also for senior officers. They're going to want to see that the governance structures are in place, they're going to want to be part of them, and they're going to want to influence them to ensure that they are constantly being continuously improved. Finally, salaries. We saw evidence earlier this year, I think it was reported by PwC after engaging with 383 listed companies, that they expect to see salaries on hold. I'm not sure that's the case. I think, and the evidence that we've seen, as these demands come through, and top talent is always going to be in demand, as the Companies Act takes hold, senior executives are going to expect to be reimbursed and rewarded for the role and the liability that they now need to place on their own shoulders. In conclusion, top talent, always in demand. The Companies Act is a terribly important step for our country. It's going to bring governance to more organizations, and it's going to impact on our senior executives.